So I want to quickly show us how to sew an invisible zipper. First thing to do is get your skirt block, the back block, then iron the zip allowance. Can you see? That's what I ironed here, such that the reason you have to iron it so that you get this line. Okay, it's called, this line is called the crease line, okay. So next thing to do is take your zipper, your invisible zipper, you open it up like so. When you open it up, you iron these parts. Look at, you iron it. You just take your iron, you open the zipper. Make sure your iron is not too hot, okay, so that it doesn't melt the zipper. So you just make sure you iron it thoroughly, such that all these parts will open up. All these parts, it will open up rather than the normal folded. You know, normally it folds. This part, it will fold like this, but when you iron it, it will open up. So that it will be easy for you to sew. So after doing that, next thing is, I've already ironed mine. Next thing is, you place your zipper the same way I taught us in the first normal zip. Okay, so you place your zipper, the allowance of your zipper, you place it like so. The way you do this is different from the first type of zipper I taught us. You know that one I said you will join the, where your zipper gets to, you sew these parts, okay. But for this, you don't need to sew anything. You can see the two skirts block, I've not joined the two. So next thing to do is, you now place your zipper. Make sure you follow the crease line. That's the essence of the ironing, okay. This crease line, it might not show very well, but I can see the crease line, okay. So you follow this crease line. So that's where you place your zip like this, okay, and you start stitching from here. I'm going to stitch to where I want my zipper to get to. So for me, I've already measured where I want my zipper to get to, so you just mark it so that you know. So next thing is to start sewing. So I'll just place it. Now note, I'm making use of my normal foot here. You know, the other one I did, I made use of my invisible zipper foot. I made use of this foot, okay. But for this one, I'm making use of my normal foot, but there's something different about this normal foot. I'm going to use the left needle, okay. So this, my sewing machine has that function. That's why I'm not using this. I'm using my normal leg. So if your sewing machine has this function, it makes it easier for you to sew your zipper. So next thing, so what this means is that it's going to sew as close as possible, because that's the excess. It's going to sew as close as possible to the zipper. So this is it. So make sure you back stitch. After back stitching, you continue sewing. Can you see? I'm sewing as close as possible to the crease line. So you keep following the crease line. I hope we can see this well. So I want to quickly show us the movement of my needle, okay. This is on the left. So when I adjust these parts, when I put it here, it will come to the middle. See? Can you see? My needle, I've shifted to the middle, okay. So when I adjust it again, it will go to the right. So that's exactly what I'm saying. So with this way, I can sew my right needle and sew my my right zipper, or sew my left zipper without any disturbance, okay. So I'll just continue sewing like so. I'm holding the camera myself, so I need to hang the camera so I can follow the crease line. This is the crease line. It's not showing well, but I can see it, okay. So I'll just keep sewing. So I'll just keep sewing. I'll keep sewing following the crease line until I get to this part, okay. Can you see? This is the marked point. So when I sew and get to the marked point, I'll stop, okay. I'll stop. I'm almost there now. So once there, I'm there now. So I'm going to tie up my stitches. I'm back stitching now. So after tying it up, I'll remove it. So can you see? So as you can see, I'm done sewing one part of the zipper. Can you see? Can you see? Look at it. And when I zip up, let me zip up and see. Can you see? Neatly done. So this is just one part of it. So I'm going to sew the other part. So the same way I've done this, I'm going to do the other part. So I will open it up like so. Then I'll take the other part of the skirt. Okay, I'll take the other part of the skirt, which is this. I'll also follow the crease line. As you can see, I've already ironed the crease line here. So on this part of the crease line, this is the crease line. When I say crease line, that place I ironed, okay, it will show one line. So that's what is called the crease line. So I'm going to do it like this. This is what you should follow, okay? This one you have done. Can you see? Can you see? Just place it straight like this and watch this part. This is the positive side of the zipper, okay? So now look at this crease line here, okay? Still fold it like so. This is the positive side of the fabric, so place it on it. Place it on the positive side of the zipper like so. Make sure you take note of where you'll be stopping on. Can you see? So it will now be positive side. That's this. You just place this when as folded like it. You just place it on it like so. Then put this zipper inside the way I like doing it. You can pin it if you like. So I have something like this. So this is how, you see, so this is how it should be. It should go like this. But in order to sew it and have it like this, you need to turn it now this way so that you see what you are doing. Okay, so you need to turn it this way. So which means that you open it up like so and you turn the zipper. This time around, I'm going to reposition my needle. You know I was sewing on the left, so this time around I'm going to adjust my needle to the right. I'm going to adjust it to the right. I've adjusted it to the right. Then you can pin it if you like, such that it will be equal. I know this orange I'm using an orange thread. You may not see what I'm doing well. So I want to first of all get the location of this part. So this is it. It has to be equal. It has to be equal. Once adjusted like that, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put my pin. I'll use my pin to hold it. So once you hold it like that, you can now start aligning it with the crease line. So I'll start sewing. Make sure you sew as close as possible to the crease line. So that's how I'll keep sewing it on the straight line, sewing very close. You know, this time around I'm sewing I'm using my right hand needle. Okay, so I'll sew as close as possible. Make sure you continue to follow the crease line until you get to where you stop. So let me align this so that I will know. Stopping here. So that's where I'm stopping. So on getting to where I'll stop, I'll back stitch and I'll stop sewing there. So I'm done sewing this part too. So I'll just cut off my So as you can see, I'm done sewing this part the same way I did this part. Let me show us the negative side. Can you see? Once you use a matching thread and you sew very close to the zipper teeth, you won't the stitches won't be visible. Okay, and looking at the right side, you can see it's also not visible. Okay, so I haven't done that. Let me zip up and see. Can you see? Neatly done. You can't even see the, can you see? Neatly done. Can you see? Neatly done. No form of stitches and no space. Can you see? Except if I draw them apart, if I pull it apart. Even while pulling it apart, you can't see. Can you see? This is how an ideal invisible zipper should look like. Okay, so next thing I'm gonna do is I want to join the skirts. Okay, I want to join the skirt, so I'll need to turn it, place them on each other like so. That's after zipping up. After zipping up, I'll place them on each other like so. Look at. Then I'll bring out this. Can you see? I'll bring this out. Then you see the same crease line I've ironed. That will be my guide. But before I do that, I need to mark out my slits, because I want a slit at the back here. Or for the purpose of this tutorial, let me just sew it down. I can lose it and attach my slit so that we'll see what I'm doing. Or I can just measure out my slit. So let me just measure out the slit. Where's my tape rope? So I want a slit of from the down part. Don't forget your sewing allowance is here, 2 inches. Then I want my slit of 7 inches. So all together will be 9. So by the time I take in 2 inches, I have a slit of 7, or maybe I should make it 6. 2 inches, then 6 or 7 inches. So this is where I'm going to stop. So next thing I'm going to do, I haven't marked out the point for my slits. So next thing I'm going to do, after folding the skirts equally like this, so can you see, you bring out the allowance like so. So what I want to do here is this, very simple. This is the marked out point for the slits, where the slits will stop. So this is what I would do. See these parts, you know, while I was sewing I had to stop both of them here. Okay, so you raise these parts up like so. Okay, take it out, let it not disturb the allowance. So now you now fold this on it like so. So from this point that I stopped, when I was stitching both, I stopped there. So I'm going to place this allowance to be here, raise this up like so, because you don't want it to disturb it. You can even use pin to hold it down if you don't want it to disturb you. See, this is the way I use pin to hold it. Now I'm going to fold this like this and carefully follow where I stopped. This same part I stopped, I'm going to continue stitching from there and follow the crease line down to where my slits will get to here. Okay, so I'll just place it under the sewing machine. This time around I'll position my needle back to middle because I'm not sewing zip again. So from here you start stitching. Make sure exactly where you stopped is where you continue from. Back stitch, and sew straight. So I'm just going to sew it straight until I get to this point here. Okay, so once I get there now, I'll just back stitch, and that is all, because that's where my slits will start from. And that's all for my invisible zip. So let me iron it and I'll show us the final outcome. Let me cut my thread. So can you see where I stopped stitching? This was where I stopped, that I had to fold this in. Okay, so what I actually did was to continue sewing from exactly where I stopped. Okay, so I continued sewing from there and I brought it down like so until I got to where my slits will start from. So I stopped. Okay, so I'm going to spread it on the table for us to see the final outcome. So before I show us the final outcome of this invisible zip, I just want to quickly draw attention to the slits. So what I actually did with this slit was to notch this part and this part so as to separate my slit from this zip allowance for the zip. Okay, so after doing that, what I did next was to hem this part in. I had to sew these rough edges in. Okay, as long as you use a matching thread. This is because this skirt will not contain lining. Okay, so next thing, although there are other methods you can do this too, so next thing I'm gonna do is to take my hemming gum the same way I have done this part, that this part is neat now. Okay, I'll just take my hemming gum and I'll just attach it to this part like so. And next thing to do is to iron it, and it will stay glued the same way the other side is. So you can now turn it over and give it a good press from this angle. So this is what I have. Okay, so this is what I have as my slits. That's the open slit. So next thing I'm going to do, okay, is to show us the zip. So let's go back to the zip. So this is my zip, my invisible zip. So can you see how neatly done the zip is? I bet you won't even be able to see the zip. Okay, so this is the zip here. So all I need to do is just to open it up. My nails, oh, yeah, and this is my nails, eh? So can you see my zip? Can you see my zip? Can you see how lovely it is. So that's all about sewing your invisible zip. Can you see? Neatly done. So this is the final, let me show us the final outcome of my zip. Can you see how the zip is on the mannequin? Can you see? Bring it closer, bring the camera closer. Can you see? You won't even see the zip, it's just line. Neatly done. Can you see? These are my dart line, and this part too, the dart line. This is the zip line. This is how an ideal invisible zip should look like. It shouldn't show the zip teeth, okay? It shouldn't show the teeth at all. It should only show the line. So now let me open it up. I hope my nails will permit me. Okay, so can you see? So can you see? Can you see how neatly done it is? This also. So this is the best way to sew your invisible zip. Once you follow the steps, you get it right.
So that's all about
just make
the
sure
invisible
two very
zip,
important
okay?
things you shouldn't joke with when you are sewing your invisible zip. Whether you use your normal leg or you use the invisible zipper foot, just ensure, number one, do not make that mistake. Make sure you iron your zip allowance, okay? When you iron your zip allowance, it shows you, it gives you a crease. It gives you the crease line, okay? There's this other tutorial I'm going to make for someone. Now I'm going to use this to also teach invisible zipper, okay? So when you iron, you don't joke with ironing, okay? So when you iron like this, it gives you this crease line. It's what will guide you. This is what will guide you in sewing your zipper, okay? So after that, you also iron the zipper itself. Make sure you iron the zipper, okay? If this is, make sure you open it up and you iron it. This part, you iron it in such a way that it opens it up. So these two tips, if you apply it, in fact, you don't have problems with sewing your invisible zipper. So that's all about invisible zipper. So if you enjoyed my video, kindly give me a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and do not forget to hit the notification bell so as to get notified each time I upload new sewing tutorials. Okay, see you in my next tutorial. Stay tuned.